friends, and welcome back to another episode of Blessed and Highly Sensitive, where we dive deep into what it means to be a highly sensitive person and how to navigate the world with confidence, resilience, and grace. I am your host, Jillynn Levone, and today we're going to be tackling the essential topic of how to thrive in the workplace as a highly sensitive person. Now, whether you are working in a bustling office or a remote setting or anywhere in between, the workplace can be a unique challenge for highly sensitive people. But I want you to relax, okay? Don't fear, all right? Because with a few mindful strategies, you can transform your work environment into a space that you can not only survive in, but you can thrive in. So let's dive in. So first, I want to talk about understanding sensitivity in the workplace. First things first. How does this make sense to you, right? As a highly sensitive person, we can often process stimuli deeply, okay? Like we take it all in and we process it so deep to the point where we're feeling it, right? And so that could mean being more affected by the bright lights. This is the loud noises, all the like chattering and murmuring that you hear as your coworkers are talking amongst each other. This could be the general hustle and bustle of everything. Like if you work in a fast-paced environment, and you're just going to be sensitive to all those different dynamics. And so it's important to recognize and how to separate yourself from those experiences. And even experiences like the tension between colleagues or even being overwhelmed by the constant like training or the constant, experience of being fed information. Okay. And here's the thing though, right? And I say this all the time. Sensitivity is not a weakness. It is truly a blessing and a superpower. Our ability to just pick up on the nuances and the subtle cues, our ability to connect deeply with other people, the way we can creatively think of strategies that bring solutions to the table. This is a key element or characteristics of being a highly sensitive person, and learning how to manage that in the environment around us is how we really harness and master those abilities. And so the first thing that we really need to talk about is setting boundaries for success. And excuse me. One of the most important things we can do as highly sensitive people in the workplace is set healthy boundaries. This might feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're a person who likes to be agreeable and helpful. But you want to make sure that you're setting boundaries so that way you can prevent burnout at the root of it. So start to set clear boundaries around how you use your time and your energy at work. So for example, if the role allows you, try scheduling most of your demanding tasks at times of the day where you are most focused and energized. That way you can really go all in, right? One of our creative and our special abilities is being able to focus deep. And so if we can really allow ourselves to hyper focus on those hard tasks, it's just about timing them or placing them in our day in a way that we have the maximum energy to put forth that effort. And so this could be this could look like you doing those tasks like first thing in the morning. This could be or after lunch, or depending on what your personal rhythm is. Like if you know how your energy flows throughout the day, make sure that you're setting and scheduling tasks according to your energy flow. And don't be afraid to say no. Like that is one of the things that I'm personally learning, especially as a professional who's growing in her profession. Saying no can be hard, especially when you know that you can help, but you may not necessarily have the time or the capacity to do so. And so as an HR professional myself, like there's times where I need to drop everything and I need to meet with employees and I need to connect with leaders and I need to do all these things. But then there's other times where I really need to focus in and process a lot of promotions or process a lot of raises and things of that nature, right? Like very admin work that comes with working in HR. So it's about me knowing my personal energy flows and how that connects to the task and the goal at hand for my team. But sometimes saying no can be a little bit difficult for me because, like I said, I want to be able to be helpful and I want to be able to, be a resource to the people that I work with, not only that I work with, but also the people that I work for. So when you feel that pressure to say yes, like to every project and task that come your way. Like, this is how you can easily create burnout. This is how you create the environment of burnout. This is how you create the environment of overwhelm. And people pleasing is the root of not wanting to say no. Okay. So if you're a chronic people pleaser, you might want to work on that first before you jump into a role, or maybe even a leadership role that will require you to really overdo that a little bit. You want to make sure that you have that boundary even in place for yourself. And so I say all of that to say, it's okay to politely decline. Like, it is okay to say, you know what, I'm not able to help, but here's an alternative solution that could also be helpful, right? Even offering another time that you would be able to help when you're not focused in on whatever the task that you're doing in that moment. And this is not only good for you, but this is good for the person who's also asking you for help, because they're going to be in a situation where someone's going to ask them for help and they may not have the capacity. But because you set that standard and that example as advocating for yourself as a highly sensitive person, even if they're not a highly sensitive person, but they don't have the capacity to take on more work, they'll understand the value in saying no and offering an alternative solution. So, you know, as we think about setting boundaries, like, think about it as like creating those buffer moments between work and home. And even just like work and self, like teamwork and like self-work, like create those buffer moments. It's definitely going to be difficult to decipher what to do and how to turn it off in that moment. And I feel like we're going to have to create like a separate episode to talk about that. But essentially, you know, in the beginning, it will be difficult to separate the two, you know, even especially that work-life balance that we all so desperately want and desire. It can be difficult, especially as a highly sensitive person, to leave the stresses at the office and not bring your work home. And sometimes it's, you know, sometimes it blurs lines, especially if you're an entrepreneur or especially if you work from home. That can be kind of difficult in the moment, but really figure it out, you know, like really take the time to develop a routine that signals the end of your workday. Like, take a short walk around, you know, a park or your neighborhood. Maybe jump into some meditation before you hop in the car and drive, you know, however long your commute is if you don't work from home. Maybe if you do work from home, take that moment, like 10-15 minutes to meditate, so that way you can kind of take your work hat off and put on, like, maybe it's you got to tend to your spouse or connect with your spouse, or maybe you have children, or, you know, maybe you're taking care of a parent, maybe there's errands you need to run. Like, taking that 10 to 15 minutes in between work and those other responsibilities, it honestly is it's a pivotal moment for you to reconnect with self, because there may be some what's the word I'm looking for? Some adjustments that you may need to make to that second part of your day or that post-work part of your day in order to accommodate and advocate for how you feel in that 15-minute break that you give yourself. So yeah, like, just close your laptop, light a candle, like, make it real ritualistic. That's just that's my vibe, but you know, adopt it if that works for you, but make it sensual, romanticize it a little bit, because I think that'll be something that you'll begin to look forward to at the end of your day, especially if you work from home and you have like a remote job. Giving yourself that distinct time to set the mood for, I'm off work, it's wind down, it's chill time. That's going to just truly transform how your day moves and how you flow with your day. And so this also immediately put you into that relaxation mode. Or even like I said, if you have like children or you have to cook dinner or things of that nature, like, you understand what you need to do in order to get you in that space, so you don't feel like, oh, here's another task or another job I have to do. Romanticize it in such a way where it actually replenishes the energy that you basically invested and that effort that you invested in your day job. But in the case that you're like, look, Jill, I get that that's a thing and I know that I can do that, but it's hard. Like, how, like, those first couple of weeks or those first couple of days can be difficult to really jump into that new routine, because you're really, you're trying to understand, what is life without feeling overstimulated? What is life without feeling overwhelmed? What is life without feeling, burned out and depleted. And so, there's ways that we can manage overstimulation, especially if we're in a busy work environment. And so, like, let's be real, workplaces can be overstimulating all the time. Okay. And if you're a highly sensitive person, that is like every second that you are in your work or at your job, you're constantly faced with navigating overstimulation or just overwhelm in general. And for me, at least, it's that constant hum of conversation in the background, or like, I personally do not have notifications on my laptop because that triggers me. Like hearing those bings and those pings from Teams chats and emails coming through and all of that, like I don't have that on. Okay. And that may be a thing for you. Like you may like that. I can't do it. Also, like I enjoy the fact that, or I appreciate, I'm grateful for the fact that I work in a place that has natural lighting. So I sit right near a really big window. So I'm able to see the day kind of change. I'm able to see the nature. I'm able to see the trees and the dragonflies and things like that that's kind of flying around right now. The grass, I can see the clouds, the sky, like I can see the change of the day, and that works for me. And I know that there's other people who may not have that privilege or that opportunity, and that's okay. It's just about taking those times to connect with that, or disconnect from whatever sensory thing that creates that overwhelm or that sensory overload for you. And to combat this, consider carving out like those moments of peace throughout your day. If you have like a 30-minute or an hour lunch, maybe you might want to go to your car, you might want to go outside. If it's cold, like we're getting into the fall, winter season soon. And so, during those winter months, like maybe, go to the bathroom. Like sometimes you just got to go in the bathroom and go in the stall and just put your headphones on and just take a moment and take a minute, like, and just chill for real, because we need those moments. We need those times to disconnect. This could be, finding a quiet corner somewhere if they have like couches or like seating areas where you work, maybe going over there with a nice book, a nice podcast, and just disconnect. Take your journal with you, write down some ideas and some things that you may want to focus on to kind of pull you away from that mental work brain, right? We don't want that space. And so like for remote workers, like a 5 to 10 minute, like I said, brief nature walk, take your kids or your animal outside to go play, to go run around. Maybe it's, taking yourself outside. Maybe you don't have kids or a dog at all, like, or a cat. Like maybe it's just like you sitting on the couch and you're relaxing and you're just disconnecting, or you're outside on your patio and you're just relaxing on your patio furniture with a nice book or podcast. Like it's about creating different environments or putting yourself in different environments to pull you out of that one frame of mental that one frame of thinking and experiencing to a more relaxed, more disconnected, or even disassociated version for yourself. Additionally, we can also take advantage of certain tools and strategies to create a calming environment. So like, let's say that you don't have the opportunity to kind of go outside. Maybe you work in one of those super high 13 to 20 story buildings, and it's like to get downstairs is just a whole thing. Maybe you need like, noise canceling headphones, or maybe you can request soft lighting, or even getting like blue light blocking glasses. Those are also very helpful. One of my favorite strategies or tools is listening to calming music or nature sounds in my headphones. Like that was one of my favorite like energy shifting tools. Was let me listen to some binaural beats or some frequencies really quick to just kind of elevate the vibe in here, and give myself some space to really experience a different frequency of energy opposed to kind of how I was feeling in the moment. And calming music and nature sounds always did the thing for me. Even like adding in a little element of like aromatherapy, like certain essential oils, just elevated the space opposed to me feeling like I needed to kind of stay smelling whatever it was that I was smelling. That just didn't, it was weird. It was a weird experience at my very first corporate job. But essentially, this is basically tools and strategies to help you kind of calm your nervous system in the reality that you are impacted by an overwhelming environment. And then, if possible, advocate for your needs. Like, many companies are becoming more aware of the importance of accommodating to different work styles. And so, whether it's asking for a quieter space or flexibility to work from home occasionally, expressing your needs can definitely lead to a more supportive workspace or a work environment, or even just like a relationship with your management team or your HR team. And also connecting with your benefits team. Like, see what benefits, like medical and health benefits, do you have or can you take advantage of to support your sensitivity while you're at work. And I mentioned this a little bit early in the beginning, but just like embracing your emotional awareness, and recognizing that your sensitivity is a strength. It's very often that we experience a high level of emotional awareness. And so this could be a tremendous asset in the workplace. This can mean that you're attuned to the feelings of others, the needs of others. This makes you very like an empathetic leader. So leadership is really great for highly sensitive people because you're not just thinking about yourself in certain business decisions. You're thinking about the whole. You're thinking about the collective. Being a highly sensitive person with these increased sensitivities make us excellent team players and strong communicators. But even in those realities, it's still important to manage their emotional boundaries, because being empathetic is a strength. While being empathetic is a strength, it's essential that we do not absorb the emotions of others to the point that it's draining our energy. Practicing emotional detachment by reminding yourself that you are responsible for your own emotions, not the emotions of others. And as a highly sensitive person, we can almost feel responsible for helping other people feel okay, for helping other people to heal. And that, my love, is not the case. We have to allow people to do their own work. And so remembering to lean into your own strengths. If you're a creative thinker, shine in your projects. Like, if you have the gift of connecting with people, build strong relationships with your colleagues. If your sensitivity allows you to approach certain problems with unique perspective, like, be the obvious choice in that. And so just realize that you have your own set of gifts. The high sensitivities filter themselves differently through everybody. And so this is also, why we must become very aware of our own emotional structures and our own way of thinking and our own truths, values, and things of that nature. So that way we can understand what we need in order to replenish ourselves. Because even though we're out here with this level of awareness on how to navigate certain work situations, how to set boundaries, we still have to take that time to love on ourselves and recharge often. And so there is an importance of self-care for us. While other people may see it as a luxury, it's medicine for us. And so do not feel shame for taking your time to recharge. The golden rule for every highly sensitive person is to prioritize self-care. It's because our energy is precious and we need to protect it by regularly recharging our aura, by regularly releasing energy that is not our own. And so this could look like scheduling time throughout the day to step away so you can decompress, especially if you're in management. Oh my God. If you're in management as a highly sensitive person, like, you really have a responsibility for yourself just much as you have a responsibility for the team that you lead. And so, take that time away, decompress, take the time off, like, use your PTO. It might be as simple as taking a few deep breaths, stretching, or, like I said, taking a nice like moment to just sit in the corner and read in between meetings. This could also look like, at the end of the day, you engaging in activities that help you unwind and fill your cup. My favorite is taking a bath. If I feel so overwhelmed from work, I will create a bath so quick, baby. I will run a bath so fast so that way I can soak in some water and immediately my energy is renewed. Sometimes a shower is enough, but for the most part, a bath will get me together every single time. And so just give yourself that time. Give yourself time first to identify what are the things that refills me up. What are the things that refreshes my energy? Is it a creative hobby? Is it meditation? Is it Pilates? Is it yoga? Is it the gym? Like, what is it for you? And how can you weave that medicine into your day at the most subtle moments that you can experience overwhelm, or even at those peak moments where you're like, I need to leave right now, otherwise like I'm gonna lose it. Like, you have to know what medicine you need for those times, because they're gonna come. Okay, like we cannot avoid them, and we can prepare from them as much as we possibly can, but they're going to happen. And when they happen, what do you need in order to get you back to your baseline? And then also, like, let's not forget how sleep is like the best medicine, baby. Like, when I tell you taking a nap is so, I don't know why we didn't like it as kids. I'm sure we felt like we were going to miss something. But at the end of the day, like, just to be able to take a nap and go to sleep and just feel well rested, this allows us to really approach our work day with a clear mind, with balanced emotions, with, with a keen awareness that just allows us to stay grounded in ourselves, even though the day may be a little bit chaotic. So take a nap on your lunch. Like, if you got a chance to go home, awesome. If you can sleep in your car, great. If there's a place in your workspace where you can cuddle up somewhere and like snuggle up with a blanket and kind of check out for a little bit, like set an alarm, make sure you get back to work when you're off, when you're all rested. Sometimes you may not even need that full hour. Just closing your eyes for 15 minutes could be the medicine that you need. So just know what you need, is my point. So to close this out, to all my highly sensitive people out there, I want you to remember that the workplace will always present its challenges, but with the right strategies in place, I know that you can create a space that will not only support you financially and professionally, but you'll be able to thrive there. So I want you to embrace your sensitivity as a strength, like honor your boundaries. Always, always, always prioritize self-care, because that is what's going to make a difference at the end of the day. That's going to help make a difference as you start your day. And it just allows you to always remember yourself at the end of the day. Okay. So thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Blessed and Highly Sensitive. If you found this episode helpful, please consider subscribing, leaving a review in the comments, or sharing with a fellow sensitive soul. And as always, stay mindful and stay kind to yourself. Until next time, I'm Jillynn Levone, and I will talk to you soon.